Hello, I'm Jeanne Stork, and this is my Alice 2 virtual world, Kayakers and Shark. I'll start by showing you what the world looks like. Comes the bird with the wings flapping. I had to tell the bird how to do that. Had some fun with coconuts. Hey, let's go kayaking. And we've got a forward flip, a backwards flip. Both characters flip a little differently. We'll get to that later. Feed me. No. Yes. I don't think so. Feed me. I should nickname the shark Audrey. To throw a shell, press T one time, and I press the T. The lady bends over, the shell bounces up, and the ballerina throws it to the shark, which gets hit and jumps. That took quite a bit of work. Thank you, Mom, for suggesting I do that. Help us escape. Help, help. Drats, foiled again. I can wait. Move the boat with the arrow keys. I originally had them say, use the arrow keys to move the boat, but my students went directly for the arrow keys before reading the whole sentence and got confused. Press H to let them say help again. And as we move around, we can move the boat just about anywhere we want. Try to keep it within the frame of the island so we don't get lost. It is possible to go so far away you can't find your way back. We went through the island. Actually, there's a collision there which pushed it the rest of the way. Now, another collision pushed us backwards. And just so you can see what happens, I'm letting the shark collide with the kayak, and there it goes backwards. Some collisions are easier to see than others. With the arrows, the kayak can move around a lot of different places. Always want to stay fairly close to the island, or it's easy to get lost and never find your way back again. As some of my students also discovered, you can go so far that the sky disappears, and after that, the water disappears. One of the challenges that I provided my students was to figure out how to move the bird up, down, left, right, forward and backward. I don't like the way the bird moves forward and backwards. I don't think it's obvious enough, but I'll show you how to fix that later on. And here comes that shark for another collision. Crash! We better start using the arrow keys to get out of the shark's way. We don't want to collide again. Up, we did. That can be a lot of fun for most of my students. A couple got frustrated. But if we made it a game and we made it fun and avoided words like try again and uh-oh, everything was fine. I actually hadn't thought of something like try again or nice try as being a trigger word, but the teacher warned me about that and I avoided it. Since then, I have discovered that try again and nice try are indeed trigger words. By leaving all of these words out, the students were able to experiment with the arrows without feeling threatened that maybe they would do something wrong or that they could be possibly making a mistake. Students could go around the island. They could circle around both the island And the lighthouse, they could circle the lighthouse, although that's a bit more tricky because of the camera angles blocking off the canoe at some points. The lighthouse actually gets between the camera and the canoe. Now, let's look at some of the coding. Alice 2 uses block coding instead of having the students type out, such as in Java. Here's just a little bit of what it looks like. I'm going to look at the bird first. The bird is moving left 1 meter. Now we're going to find where the bird moves backwards. Remember I said I didn't think the bird moved enough? I'm going to change 3 meters to 4 meters. I'm going to do that for both backwards and forwards. Always remember to save after you've made any changes. And now the bird will pop forward more and shrink backwards more. Just a few other things that you can see along the way that I've done. The backflips. The ballerina and the scuba diver have different backflips. They both pivot differently. I had to make sure that their heads do not crash into the sand or go through the island. The ballerina and the scuba diver also walk differently. The scuba diver has a built-in walking function. The ballerina, I had to teach how to walk. In both cases, I had to make sure that they walked along the surface of the island to the best extent possible. The island curves down. It's not a flat surface. So without some careful work, they either walk into the sand or out into the air. I learned through trial and error. Just like I try to teach those 2 students, it's okay to make a mistake. Mistakes help us learn. This project is full of experimentation. One of the things that I experimented with is actually making the window where I can see the island larger. There are times I even made elements such as the fish that I added and the shells that I added larger until I got them in place and then shrunk them back to where I wanted them. Routing the elements to the island was not an easy task, but when I finally finished, it felt good. Creating even a small virtual world can be frustrating at times, but I'm glad I did this. I learned a lot. Thank you all for watching my video. The sound effects, such as the bird chirping, were removed so that you could more clearly hear my voice.